What's up, everybody? It is I, Sigma, and we are back with episode 36 of the BBET GamesCast. I'm joined by Superman Jeff.
What's going on, people?
As well as Blue Bones.
It's your boy. What's up, y'all?
And Mr. Gamer is not here this week. He had some personal things to take care of. We wish him the best. But, as we always do, we're going to get started with what we've been playing for the week. Anybody want to go first? I've only got 2 games. I can start it off if you want.
I went first last week, I think. Y'all go ahead.
I'll go first. I mean, I don't have much, but
All right, go ahead.
I've been playing some Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Working on solidifying, stepping up my team, you know. 'Cause I already had a pretty good team, but I kind of wanted to mix it up.
Yeah, room for improvement, I guess.
No, not room. It depends on what they're up against. But now, so here's the thing. I can go pure with the rules, like I'm supposed to. Or if we're going to do some extended play, like in Magic, if we're not going to do standard, we're going to do some extended play. I also have a Mewtwo now, so nothing's beating that.
Did you nickname your Mewtwo?
Crazy Mewtwo.
That's why you can't really use mythical and legendary Pokemon, because his stats are out the window.
Okay.
So don't use
There's
them.
no.
You can't use them.
Why not? If everybody else is using broken stuff, why would not? You know.
This sounds like going down the dark side.
No.
What happened to your integrity?
That's just in case. But he's not in my team. He's just on the side, just in case.
He's a coach. Got it.
Yes. He just helped mentor a few other monsters.
He's a role model for the rest of your Pokemon.
Exactly. He's like, this is what you wanna achieve. This is where you wanna be. When you finish your training in was it what was it called in Dragon Ball Z?
Hyperbolic time chamber.
Time chamber.
Boom. There you go. Yes. So that's what I've been working on. Got some different Pokemon. Working on some different stats with them. Trying out some different plays, playing online, kind of seeing what works with different ones.
I have a question about that. How does the online work in Pokemon? Is there a ranking system? Is it just random battles against?
You do have
trainers?
rankings. You can do online ranked, and you can also do kind of just playing around exhibition. So
if I were to jump into because I didn't even realize that there was an online mode anytime I booted up Pokemon. But if I were to jump in,
you never did the surprise trade or anything?
No.
Surprise trade is my thing. That's how I be catching all kinds. Well, not catching, but collecting all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean?
I've only beat 3 or 4 gyms still.
Wait, what did you say?
I've only beat 3 or 4 gyms still. So I don't is that end game stuff, or can I right now be I want to go online and fight with my booty Pokemon?
You could pick up a little squirrel Pokemon or whatever they got and trade it and get something really good by accident.
Yeah. And the good thing is when people are doing the raids, it'll pop up on there and tell you that these people are doing this particular raid.
The raids are fun.
They are.
I like that.
I only did a computer one of those so far.
Yeah, that's rough. They can be doing anything.
Okay.
Aside from that, I did some Gears. We did Gears last week.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you were playing with Certified.
Shout out to Fast Tags and Umi-chan and everybody in Certified. We were playing some Gears. It felt good to get back into it. I just hate being away from it so long, so I've been getting matches in whenever I can. Because like I said, we played 1, 2, 3, and 4 nonstop.
Yeah.
When this one came out, certain people who shall not be named really didn't want to play, so it was a little harder to get a team together and go in. But it feels good to get back in. The combat's fun. I've gotten pretty deadly with my shotgun again. I did save some.
With the Nasher.
With the Nasher.
So you have to practice it in Gears.
You do.
Is that that's a thing?
You're just not point and shoot, So I'm gonna made some cuts. I'm gonna make some highlight videos and put that on the channel.
I really want to see that.
You should.
Yeah, man.
I'll make you play.
Ooh, you know what? Hopefully, it does make me want to play. It would be cool.
Yeah. See. And then we'll be streaming again this Thursday. See, there you go. Look at you.
But I mean, you can say that about a lot of games. There's so much that I just want to go back to.
Talking about playing Remnant today, and I'm like,
son, let's do it. Let's do it.
Every time I see comrades, I just exit out the chat.
You can't even try it, bro. And I talked about Sword Art Online which you was complaining like, oh, I sort of played it, and then you still ain't said nothing.
I ain't see you on playing that.
I played it.
And then the thing is, when I see Comrades and then I see Overwatch after that, if Overwatch was before that, it would have made me want to play Overwatch. But because you already put that taste in my mouth, it made me not.
He's like, you ruined the meal.
I was tempted to last.
Oh man.
Okay, so is that what you've been playing, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I've been playing.
All right. I first I'll start with what I've been playing on stream because the last 2 weeks, like back to back, I was on Sekiro because Starboy is in trouble, like I explained in a previous podcast, so we didn't do Sigma and Sun. So that meant I got to rematch the Guardian Ape, and
that was wild.
about an hour in, finally took him down. Like, it was a hard fought battle. Like, he was, son. When I tell you, like, I was having like dreams about his attack patterns. Like, I was like, his moveset was in my head the whole week, which is why when I first came back into the match, I was doing pretty well. Like, I wasn't as rusty as I thought I would be. But this dude started doing brand new stuff.
Yeah. Once you killed him, though, it made sense. All the stuff he was doing.
Yeah. When he finally went down.
Why is he moving like that?
It was like this weird, like demon centipede creature that was in his body. So like he was dead, but that insect thing was like controlling him from the inside, which is why he was like moving all strange and weird, and like slithering around. Like it was so disconcerting. But
Poor little Guardian Ape.
Yeah, but on that second phase of the fight, it finally became clear that you can avoid most of his attack. You don't have to deal with most of it. But there's like one or two specific strings that once you parry them, he'll stop whatever he's doing and he'll just do this really long overhead swing. And if you parry that, it makes him fall over. And then you get like a ton of hits on him. So it's like as long as you stay alive long enough to do that a number of times, you can get to the end of that fight. So it is easier than the first phase, but it took a while to see that. Mm-hmm. And that's the challenge. Like you got to get so good at the first phase that you can survive long enough to deal with the second phase.
And have enough health to make any mistakes in the second.
Right. So finally got through that. Did a little bit more exploring afterwards, and then ran into a brick wall of a puzzle where that big albino snake that we've been running away from for most of the game shows back up. Mm-hmm. I mean, he shows back up in like this cave system where like there are like dudes who pop out of the wall and like they just wreck you because like they'll hit you as long as you don't hit them, but if you hit them, they go back in the wall and then they'll surprise you again by popping back out. So that was super annoying. I got to the point where I was like just running past them, like forget this. I don't need to fight all these guys. Facts. But then the snake shows up and he's guarding a gate, and like if you run towards the snake, he immediately just knocks you down. He's super fast. There's no way to parry it or jump over it or whatever that I could find. There's a slight path down to the side of him, and there's like one of those monkeys, like not a big monkey, but like a little baby monkey who's like cowering in fear. Like he's afraid of the snake, doesn't want to do anything to you or anybody else. He's just in fear. And you can kill him, but you don't necessarily have to because he's not aggressive. He's just hiding. Yeah, and it's like, okay, there's something about this monkey's behavior that's trying to give me a clue as to what to do about this snake, and I could not figure it out. So that's pretty much where the stream ended. I was tempted to like maybe just look up the walkthrough because I was a little frustrated at that point, but I eventually like told myself, nah, I'll spend more time with this on my own because I kind of want to see if I could have figured out what the hook is.
If it's intuitive.
Right, yeah. So I'll probably go back on that on my own time, and then by the time we stream again next week, I'll probably try something else, and maybe we'll come back to Sekiro sometime down the line if I haven't beat it by then. But other than that, my review went up for a game I was playing a while back called Blood Roots. Like I finished it forever ago, but the embargo finally hit on the 27th. And I believe it got some stage time at E3, but I can't remember on what stage. But it's an indie game, and it's in the vein of like Hotline Miami, where it's one hit kills most enemies and one hit kills you. It's also very similar to what is that, Katana Zero that I was playing on stream.
Yeah, I remember that, the side-scrolling 8-bit.
Right. But it's like very cartoony, but like the cartoon that comes to mind is like the last season of Samurai Jack, where it's like kind of hyper violent, like very colorful, but like serious tone. And like it's cool. Like the premise is you're this frontiersman type dude, and you're part of an outlaw gang, and your outlaw gang betrays you. So they think you're dead, but you wake up and you want revenge. So you're hunting pretty much all of them, and then everything in the world is a weapon. Like you could pick up fence posts, you can pick up pots off the table, you can pick up the table itself. Like there are swords, there are axes, there are all sorts of gadgets or whatever all over the place. When you grab it, you can swing it like 2 or 3 times, and then it breaks, and you got to find something else. So that seems super simple, but depending on what you're holding, your attacks change, your movement changes. Like you're able to move around the level in different ways based on what you have in your hands. So like it turns into like little combat puzzles where it's like if I grab this, then I can dash over this gap and kill this guy here. If I grab this, I can pole vault up here, get this guy. I can throw this bomb, kill those 3 guys. So yeah, it gets really, really cool, and it's stupid hard. But it's like that splatformer type thing where if you die, like they immediately start you back at the beginning of the section.
Oh, kind of like Dead Cell.
Yeah, like Dead Cells or Celeste or whatnot. So like they encourage you, like, yo, keep trying, keep throwing your head against this thing until you figure out the best way through it. And it's fun. Like end of the day, like it's actually a whole lot of fun. So I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay.
I also tried out The Witness, the Jonathan Blow game.
What is that?
It's a puzzle game. Do you guys remember Jonathan Blow? No? Did you guys play Braid on 360?
I know of it, and it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
It's the dude with the hourglass, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So if you don't know, Braid was probably one of the marquee titles of Summer of Arcade, like back in the day. Like remember how like where Limbo came from, and that assassin game with the ninja. I can't remember the name of that.
That's
but
very vague.
Yeah, it's a super vague title. But basically, like it was like one of those like if you ever watched Indie Game the movie, like Braid and Jonathan Blow are featured heavily because like these are some of the games that really like put indies on the map and kind of made them what they are today. So Jonathan Blow is like a big name, right? Okay. And Braid, honestly, if you haven't played it, do it. It's a fantastic game. It has an amazing story.
Yeah.
And like it's something that it's a game that I'll never forget my experience with. But this is Jonathan Blow's next game after Braid, and it's a puzzle game where it's in first person. You walk around, and like all in the environment, you'll see like line puzzles. Like you have to trace a line through like a maze to get to the other side, and then like as time goes on, like they introduce new rules. Like, oh, this is a white block and a black block, and your line has to pass through the middle of them, otherwise it's a fail. Or your line has to cover like these dots in the middle of the track, so you have to go a specific way to get through all the dots before you reach the end goal. And like it's simple, like they're challenging and they're entertaining in their own right. But the game world itself is beautiful, and it's like clearly it's trying to set you up for something bigger, like a bigger reveal. And I feel like I hinted on something that's supposed to be discovered later on in the game.
Oh.
And I'm not sure.
Might be a spoiler?
Yeah, I feel like I might have spoiled a little bit of something for myself because me just being super experimental, kind of stumbled upon something that's like, okay, I can't do whatever this is right now, but I feel like this is leading towards something much bigger in regards to like these puzzles. And so that made me kind of lose interest a little bit, but I do want to go back and see if I can get to the point where that stuff starts happening, like the bigger stuff. Because I'm still doing the little stuff, and I'm like, I want to get to the bigger stuff, and like I'm losing motivation because it's not happening yet. But that's pretty much all I've been playing.
Interesting. All right. Let's see. For me, I've been doing a lot of hopping around. You know me. I did some more Comrades work. I finally got to finish some more of the high level missions because more of our friends are getting to the higher levels, and they're getting access to all the better weapons. So we're able to coordinate and withstand some of these bonus missions and the higher urgents. So that's been pretty fun. Overwatch Free For All Friday last week was so much fun. I was trying to tell you, the very last game, like we probably went the whole day. We probably went 8-2. You know what I'm saying? 8 solid wins. Mm-hmm. Two solid losses. Well, I'll say one solid loss. The other one we were definitely messing up. But the very last game was great because we said, okay, guys, it's pushing 9 o'clock. It's gonna be our last game. Let's make it a good one. And before the game started, we said, yeah, we're doing this. We're doing an explosive finish. Da da da. Everyone's like getting hyped, and we go through and we wreck. One push on Gibraltar, attack, boom, first point, boom, second point. Chibs got play of the game. There was a team kill by the end of it. We was just all hyped, man. It was so good. It was a really good game overall. I was so proud of my team there. Shout out to I know it's Sincere. Shout out to Joker, Chibs. I think Sigma, you were there too. And wait, was that?
I don't know.
Last week?
No, that was last night.
Not on. Last night I was
that
playing.
was last night.
Yeah, not on.
No,
Friday.
you weren't playing that stream night. Yeah, I think Mr. Gamer was there. I think Mr. Gamer was there too. But shout out to the squad.
Yep.
Yeah, good looking out. I'm getting back onto Final Fantasy 14, and I'm kind of taking a different approach now. I've been doing some networking with some folks, and I'm making new characters and blah, blah, blah. Now, normally you have one main character, and they can do everything. But you do different characters for normally just to be on different servers and to talk to other folks instead of traveling between the two or three or whatever. But now what I'm doing is I'm kind of having this character main the crafting and gathering skills, so I can have that in my repertoire as well. My base character is mostly combat and that kind of stuff. While he can do crafting and gathering, I said, let me just do something different. So I'm kind of taking a whole new approach to the game. It's a brand new character starting from level 1. I'm doing a crafting and gathering main, so this is going to be interesting. It's a new experience for me. I'm excited. I'll keep you guys a little updated, just tiny updates on how that goes.
When I play games like that, I never really do the crafting and gathering.
Can you run?
Game I did that in was Elder Scrolls Online.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. I remember that.
And they've revamped the system like multiple times since launch, and right now most of the crafting and gathering mains are saying this is the best it's been. While it's not necessarily easy, it's intuitive, and so you just know you have a clear goal and way to get there. It's just drop rates and really coordinating with your folks and coordinating your time. So
are you able to run stores in that game?
So not a specific store, but you can put up stuff on the market board. Now, if people recognize,
like Phantasy Star Online was. Remember we played that?
Fantasy, you can. I think you can still do that in the second one.
Yeah,
like you can run a shop.
Yeah. So in this one they don't have specific shops. However, on the market boards or auction boards, as a lot of people know it as, you can put up items for sale, and people can recognize you as the seller. But other than that, they're really looking for the.
So it's more like a eBay than it is a.
Yeah, it's more a eBay than it is like.
It makes me want to get back into that, but my only concern is once Phantasy Star Online 2 comes out, I'm probably not gonna.
Yeah, you want to throw it in the trash.
Yeah, and then it's invest in that $15.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know when PSO2 comes out, my game time on everything else is gonna cut down too. And speaking of which, we saw that tweet.
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 This might be one of the last few weekends that you might be without Phantasy Star Online. Yeah. I feel like that wasn't a beta tease because it
worked pretty well.
It would have came out a little bit different to me if it would have been a beta. It would have been like, hey, this might be one of the last few weekends where you're without the Phantasy Star Online 2 beta, open beta, or something like that.
And that would have been a weird way to phrase it anyway.
It really would have. Yeah.
Or something to the effect of, it's coming soon.
That's what I felt like the tweet said.
But it seems like they're not sure. So it seems like there's something that they need confirmation on before they can say it's coming out
this day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it might be kind of like Apex. They said, hey, something's coming tomorrow, and then boom, a whole.
But that was like no lead up to it at all, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like.
It's like, what is this? There's a battle royale Titanfall.
Let's
check it out.
It was amazing. And it was like, what the heck? I feel like any day now we could get the tweet like from Xbox or obviously from PSO saying, download PSO2 today. Let's go for free.
Oh man, I'm taking off that day. And I'm glad your progress carries over, because I was at like level 19 and it was at 20 where you get your subclass. I was almost there, but I wound up waiting for some people to get ready to go on missions, and it just slowed me down.
I don't think that's true. I think you made that up.
No, it's true.
Sounds like
True. Some people's like, I don't know how to find the invite. And I'm like,
I'm excited to get back into that game. That game's
yeah, I'm
gorgeous.
excited too.
Yeah,
I can't wait
But,
to outshine both of you.
You know what? I like that. I like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's nice to have
I've been playing
dreams,
Pokemon Go.
however unattainable they may be.
I've been playing Pokemon Go, and I saw the weirdest thing the other day, and apparently more people are aware of it than I was. There's a Mewtwo with like battle armor on.
Oh right, yeah, I saw that picture you posted.
Yo, I was like, what kind of demonic thing is this? It's already Mewtwo. Like, that's bad enough.
Right.
You don't remember
And
that
he's got,
armor
like-
from the first movie where he
I
was in?
do.
But he had
working
more
with,
stuff on him.
Giovanni.
Than that.
But he had more than that. Like, because I remember, like, when it had the tubes on him and he had the helmet, and so he looked like he was in a VR set, right?
Yeah, he had
like,
that, but it was like darker, and then he also had like a bunch of spikes behind
he had
him.
these, like, almost spider legs behind him. It was wild,
Yeah,
bro.
he looked crazy.
So, like, let me tell you what I'm
I
not.
like a hack.
I had my
Right, it looked like somebody hacked the boss.
It really did. I had my Squirtle just looking up at the Mewtwo. I'm like, just stand back, baby. We ain't got nothing to do with this.
Wait.
It was a,
You run around with a Squirtle?
yes. What's wrong with that?
Not a Wartortle, not a Blastoise. How long you had
I
this?
just
Squirtle?
started like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
You still evolve.
The Pokemon judge.
You still evolve Pokemon in Go with the candies,
Mhm.
or can they battle and gain experience now? No, it's just candies.
I can now battle. I haven't battled anybody yet, but yeah, as far as I know, it's just candies right now.
Yeah, but you can have them walk around with you, and they get
Yeah.
candies walking around.
Okay,
And also by capturing more of them, you get candies too.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sacrifice them and turn them into Pokemon food. That was
pretty
the narrative that grew out of that.
100%.
But okay,
But,
is that is
Yeah,
that
other than that, we did some Borderlands 3 this week as well.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a little bit further in the Handsome Jack, Handsome Jackpot, excuse me, DLC, which is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. It's funny. Did that happen this past week with the Handsome Jack
Jack?
character?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, that was this week.
Yeah, that was wild. You had the people come through, and we had a character named the Handsome Jackpot, or I should say a viewer on our mixer come through and basically act like Handsome Jack. And they were also interacting with the game because you can, do little inserts and stuff. Jeff, you were with us. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think he threw some exploders in there. He said he would, and it came up at the right time, but I'm not sure if he did the thing or not. So either way, it was a lot of fun. Mr. Gamer had lost his mind. Yo, he could not stop screaming. It was so funny. But yeah, it was a really fun experience, and we posted about it on Twitter and stuff like that. So
I think that's a pretty cool thing. Hopefully, it's somebody from
Gearbox.
yeah, that kind of is doing that, because that would be something
That
pretty
would be
cool
cool.
to
Yeah,
kind
like
of.
part of their social team or something.
they went live the other day, and I watched them, but there's no voice, no video, and they were just playing Borderlands 3. So I was like, And we know it's an actual person because they were actually responding specifically to us and people in the chat. So it wasn't no bot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would
It
be
was a
pretty
lot of
cool.
fun.
I think other games you kind of do stuff like that. It adds another layer of
Oh, yeah.
interaction.
And
too.
realism.
Yeah.
We were talking smack to Handsome Jack, which is something anybody who played Borderlands 2 would want to do. You know what I mean? It was cool.
He was the best part of that game for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been playing this week.
Nice. So we're gonna move on to Blues News, our Super Smash Sunday
Hey.
recap, brought to you by Blue.
By me, Blue. BLUB0NES. That sounds like a tagline that you'd see in on a commercial or something like that.
And then
Anyway.
the super quick voice, with all the side
Yes.
effects. May cause nausea, diarrhea.
It's called extreme stress. So Super Smash Sundays last week was a lot of fun. When we first started out, we had Mr. Gamer kind of showing us what Isabelle can do until
Isabel was
Slicker
pretty nice.
His Isabelle was really nice until Slicker showed up with his Sonic the Hedgehog, which was kind of the first character that we saw Slicker in originally. He killed with it, so I think that's his bread and butter. But he was doing the thing. For a long time, Slick was holding it down, and then I think it was Sigma. Sigma's Pikachu took over for a couple games. He did some really good work. I forget what it was. There was one in particular where you did a down B off the side and it just kind of spiked somebody down. It was ridiculous. But
okay. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, Pikachu work was amazing until we had Slicks come back with his Inkling. And the Inkling was coming up until we got one more guy named Soul. Soul came in there. He lost his first round when he was playing Joker, but then he came back with Terry and finished off the whole stream and just killed everybody with Terry.
Yeah, his Terry was pretty decent.
Yeah, his Terry was real nice, and he was making it happen. So we had really good GGs all around, and I guess the only thing I want to say about our Super Smash Sundays, if you lose, don't get salty. Just head up. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be upset, but don't get mad at other folks.
Yeah, don't. It just doesn't. It's bad sportsmanship. If you're complaining about your loss, anytime you lose doesn't mean it's unfair and you were cheated. Sometimes you lose. It's part of the game.
You get specific. I will say I was mad salty at you though.
Me?
When I missed that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know what you're saying.
So if y'all don't know, I recently changed up my controls. Normally I have Smash on the right stick, and as I've seen, better players do, and I've heard from you guys, change that to a tilt, right? So I was like, okay, I've done it. I did it before, and it messed me up, and I was like, I don't want to do this. So I tried it again, and this time I was on the verge of killing Sigma. Shield was broken, and I was on his left side. We're on the left side of the stage. So I jump over to the right side, and I knew I didn't have a whole bunch of time for his shield broken. So I'm like, you know what? He's almost done. This is his last stock. Let me just quick smash. Done. Out of here. And I hit the stick, and the stick was a forward tilt. And so he survives it and ends up killing me. I was pissed off. And this man on stream screams in my face laughing, yo.
I had to.
Like that.
I had to.
Go back and watch the stream. And I'm sitting there like, wow. And he knows exactly why I lost. I had told him right before the stream, I was like, yo, I'm nervous about this because I feel like I'm going to mess up just like this. And I messed up on him, and he was like, ha! So yeah, I was a little...
It's muscle memory. That's all it was.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. I was a fan of the first half of your stream on Sekiro. I was happy that you beat it.
Oh, man.
I was happy that you beat
it.
He did. Y'all saw it. You watched every moment.
I did.
I'm sitting here with my tea.
Y'all see them.
But anyway, that was a Super Smash recap of the week. Let's get into these stories, bro.
Right, we have a number of topics for this week. First off, something on the sad side. Blue, you brought this to our attention.
And more Blue talking. Y'all getting a lot of Blue today. But yeah, just like Sigma said, this is, oh man, I'm going to make a pun. This is very Blue. Konami.
Was that the pun?
That means it's sad.
Okay.
This makes me feel blue.
I was just checking.
Try again. Konami code creator Kazuhisa Hashimoto has passed away at age 61. Now, if you guys don't know what the Konami code is, it's a series of inputs on your controller that is used to do different cheats and different secrets in games. And it all started with this man, Kazuhisa Hashimoto.
Yeah, it was famously the 30 lives code in Contra. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of made its way into a bunch of other Konami games where it got the nickname the Konami code. And then as a reference to that, tons of different games from all sorts of publishers and developers started putting it in there. Do you guys have any other instances where you use that code for anything? Because I specifically remember Mortal Kombat 2. That was how you got...
Yes.
Mortal Kombat.
The blood.
100%. The first game he actually used it in was called Gradius, and he said he hadn't played it much, when he was developing it,
Mhm.
and he knew he couldn't beat it, so he put in the code, the cheat code, which is great. The original code was up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start.
Yes.
So unfortunately, they have left us, but they left us with a great.
It was different on Sega.
Legacy. It was different on Sega. What was it for Sega?
Like up, down, left, right, up, down, up, left, right, CAB.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different variations of it. They didn't. Most of the Konami codes haven't strayed far from the original recipe, but they're all references to this. So yeah, this developer is definitely left behind a legacy, pretty much in the shadows, and that's the point of it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I imagine in light of his death, we might see a lot more homages to him via that code in future games. So look out for that. Like just try it in any game you're playing and see if something happens, because there's like a 50% chance that you'll get something.
Real talk. So yeah, we definitely send condolences to the families and the loved ones they left behind, and we're excited to see new generations of dedication to game development, just like Mr. Hashimoto did.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, a less sad topic, more controversial. Jeff, you brought this to our attention. You want to take this one?
Oh yeah. So recently, let me just make sure I get his name correct. Okay, so Mr. Kurt Finnick. He's a streamer for FIFA. Recently got banned from not only any type of online matches. He's banned for playing any EA games in general. Also, his YouTube channel was shut down.
Bro.
And mind you, he was the number 2 streamer for FIFA 2020.
Yo, what did he do?
That's his livelihood.
So apparently he'd been harassing members of the EA staff about the quality of the game. His appeal to him being banned was that he was the number 2 streamer. He was close to taking over the number 1 streamer, their golden boy, and they wanted to shut him down because of that. Yes.
Wow.
But he'd been harassing staff members. There was also a cyber attack on a couple of EA staff members.
And they think
he had something to do with it.
It was more than likely it was coerced by him, like his fan base.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like he probably
put on by that.
Right.
He's like, look, I didn't say go hack them, y'all.
But I didn't say don't.
I didn't say don't. You know what I'm saying? It's a free country.
So like
that's terrible.
Yeah, my take on that is, if you are like, if this game is your livelihood, like I understand being a critic and whatnot, but like why is he so toxic? Like to the point where he's causing all this like strife and stress. Like he's calling out EA staff members and like calling the game, like cursing out the game and like sending people to like mess with them and whatnot. Like your livelihood is based around this. Like, how do you hate it?
Yeah. How you taking money out your own pockets?
Real talk.
Like what? Like my question is, what is it that he even really wanted them to do?
Yeah.
There was never any clear indication of what he was trying to achieve. It was just him kind of lashing out. He was even heard. He beat a guy, and I guess he was recorded on his stream. I beat you at this game.
Wow. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Like this is my thing, right? I feel like there's two things here. One, he's upset with the game itself. Two, him mentioning, and this part kind of scares me too. Him mentioning that, he was coming up on number 1 and EA's like, nah, we like this guy at number 1, let's cancel number 2. That sounds like that could also have been happening.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure that there's a factor in that.
That's scary. You know what I mean? But yeah, that it sucks that he's such a hothead and a jerk. It sounds like, you know.
We gotta think about it. It's a brand. You can't go around saying whatever you want because you're gonna damage your
Yeah.
brand. And when you start personally attacking them, employees, even if you weren't directly responsible or people didn't do it on your behalf, because employees are being targeted now, and you're
Like,
putting that propaganda out there, you're gonna be kind of made the spokesperson for their vengeance. Pretty much, you're gonna be this. You're gonna be the example of this is what happens when you carry yourself in this particular manner.
this is what gets me. What made him think they wouldn't shut him down?
I think he had been banned before, but like on like temporary scales. Like it was like,
Yeah.
okay, you got like a ban for doing this and that and the third. So honestly, I do feel like he is a jerk. He's the
Yeah.
kind of jerk who feels entitled and whatnot. And the fact that the success that he's seen from this game franchise, he doesn't put two and two together that these people that you're like raging against made that. Like you guys
Yeah,
are technically
exactly.
on the same team. So if you're gonna keep, biting the hand that feeds you, like how are you gonna be surprised when they say, you know what, we don't need to take this anymore. We can
really
ban
don't.
you entirely
From any
And
EA game.
from
The
all
first
of it.
time-
Like
the
now,
first
what are you
time
gonna
I hear
do?
that one of my employees is being harassed by a player, I'm kicking him off. Like it's not even a thought.
Right.
You know
We
what I
gotta think about it if it was a workplace. If they
Yeah.
all work together in the same building, you're running
Which
around F this
technically
company,
are.
this and that, and blah blah blah, and this is your fault, and blah blah blah. That creates a hostile work environment. So
100%.
whether it's online or not, I think they took the steps that they needed to kind of course correct the whole situation and make
Yep.
other people aware that this is not okay behavior. And we've seen it too much. What PewDiePie and some other people, with their hateful speeches and the stuff they say online, whether it's against this particular minority or against a group of people or against a company, that this isn't okay.
Yeah, like the amount of influence they have, like it becomes dangerous if the person at the top isn't aware of the kind of sway and influence they have.
That's like the president saying hateful stuff. And
right.
then-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just mini versions of that nonsense. But like, it makes perfect sense to me that if this guy was the number 2 and he was about to be like the number 1 FIFA streamer,
Yeah.
that if he's like a toxic problem, like no,
Yeah,
like why
take
in the
him out.
world would EA want that to be the face of
Yeah.
their streams?
see
Like
that.
no, like
Like, yeah, be a douche.
clean your act up.
And that gets you the number 1 spot. Like, no.
I mean, and he may have just been, because he was so popular, he was playing up that behavior to a certain
Yeah.
extent. So he's like, I'm gonna just keep doing this because it works. Well, maybe get a better audience. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like, because like I don't see the
Yeah.
value in that kind of stuff.
People who like that is
Yeah, like there's a lot of them out there. And
They love TMZ.
right. Maybe they'll stick with him when he moves on to, I don't know, Pro Evolution Soccer or something. Maybe his fan base will stick with him over there. But I mean, he could have been playing that game the whole time if he really hated FIFA that much. But whatever.
So this is a little off topic, but
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know because I haven't played them. Are the FIFA games better than the Pro Evolution Soccer games? Because they've both been around for a while, and I've never really played them.
I've heard about both. So, like, I know the
Yeah.
guy from PlayStation Access, Rob. He plays, like, PES, like, religiously. Like, he would make, like, mock seasons where you have to play, like, all the games and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then you also have, like, we have a buddy who plays nothing but FIFA. Like, I don't think there's ever been another game in his console. So
talking about,
I think it
Blue
just
Magic?
I think it just depends on the person.
Yeah, it's probably a preference thing. But the thing is, I think both games are actually high quality soccer sims.
Okay.
So it's not like
Yeah.
one is like the trash one and the other is the good one. It's like they compete, but FIFA is definitely the more popular one.
Got you.
So that's gonna do it for Kurt Finnegan, whatever you said his last name was. In more than one way, that's gonna do it for
Finnick
Kurt.
or something.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to our next
That
topic.
was like a fake name. Like it was out of a nursery rhyme or something. I'm sorry.
Sorry. So our next topic has to do with more business side of stuff.
Yeah.
Disney's CEO Bob Iger is actually stepping down after a
Bruh.
long tenure, and weirdly enough, he's being replaced by another dude named Bob Chapek. So
Keep it in the bobs.
yeah, just they need a bob at the top for whatever reason.
That probably was like on their search for their job posting.
Let's be a Bob.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Bob Chapek, he is internal. Like, he worked in the parks section. So, like, he kind of oversaw the Star Wars additions to the Disney parks stuff. And he also, like, apparently he did a really good job just expanding on the, what do you call it? The amusement side of, like, Disney's business or whatnot, right? But honestly, when you compare what he was doing to what Bob Iger's done over the course of his time as CEO, it really doesn't compare. Like, Bob Iger is the reason why they ended up buying Marvel, why they ended up buying Star Wars, the Fox acquisition, the Hulu stuff, the Disney Plus launch. They wanted him to stay on for all of that. So, like, all of that explosive growth has Bob Iger's name tied to it. Yeah. And, like, even at this stage, apparently he was supposed to retire or leave from that position back in 2018, and they asked him to stay on longer.
Yeah, and to kind of oversee the transition.
Right, to like kind of keep things going. And he was also supposed to be done at this point, but they was like, just hang around as like a chairman on the board, like as an overseer, blah, blah, blah. So he's still technically
this man
connected.
Is tireless.
Yeah,
he loves
it's
his
like,
job.
they like, please don't go. Please don't go, Bob.
At this point, he's getting paid for the rest of his life, right?
He probably doesn't need to do anything else. Yeah, he's done.
But he actually likes his job at that point. And, you know, we need to get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I would be mad.
Super rich streamers, be good, positive influences to the community, and just retire when we want. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I mean, what do you guys feel the future looks like with Bob Iger kind of taking a little bit more of a backseat role, and a guy who's in charge of the amusement parks now being put in charge of this massive collection of media properties?
As a Disney fan, I feel like the expansion of the recent amusement parks has been phenomenal. The attention to detail has been great. The immersion has been wonderful and fantastical as it should be. And I don't feel like he did a bad job by any means. My biggest regret is not being able to go to the Star Wars exhibit before I left Cali. But obviously I'll get there eventually.
Well, you're not that far from Florida. Why don't you just drive on down?
One, as far as I know, it's just the one in Cali.
Yeah, I think
really? They didn't do both?
I think it's.
I feel like that's.
Yeah, I think it's in Disneyland. That Star Wars.
Yeah, it's in Disneyland,
not Disney World. Okay.
Yeah.
No, and I think it's technically Disneyland California, because that's a whole nother separate park.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I've seen firsthand, and I got a little insight on behind the scenes that this new Bob has done some great work. Now, hopefully, his drive and innovation will translate to the other parts of the Disney franchise. And, we're a lot, and I should say the most concerned about what we see on TV and what we see on film. So hopefully, like I said, his innovation and his drive will push on to those. We'll carry over, and we'll keep the momentum that they've been doing. Because right now, everyone's relatively happy with what Disney's been putting out.
Except Star Wars fans.
No, except for certain
certain ones.
Certain Star Wars fans.
I mean, The Mandalorian was a great addition.
It was. I agree.
They get this Obi-Wan situation under control, but
real talk. Okay, so real quick on that. Quick. I promise I'm gonna be quick. The latest, the final season of Star Wars Clone Wars.
I wanted to bring that up, actually.
Dropping.
Yeah.
Yo, it just started dropping on Disney Plus. Me and my girl started watching. There's 2 episodes dropped right now. It is mind blowing. That's all I'm saying.
Well, to add on to that tangent, I actually recently just started Clone Wars from the beginning because I'd seen episodes here and there. And honestly, so far I'm in like the middle of season 2 right now. Honestly, the Clone Wars animated series is the best Star Wars storytelling I've seen in any other. Like, it's better than all the movies, better than any other shorts or TV shows.
100%.
Like, that's the most interesting Star Wars has ever been to me.
I've been trying
because you have so much time to flesh it out.
They do, yeah. That's their advantage. They have a lot of time to flesh it out, and they have a lot of content to hook onto because they're. I'm trying to keep it down here, but you are speaking my language, bro. I've been trying to tell people Clone Wars, Rebels is really good. is not as good as Clone Wars, but it's really good, and that's definitely something you should explore too if you're looking at like post prequel stuff. Well, I guess that's just regular Saga, right? Post prequel.
Post prequels it's just we're here.
But yeah, Clone Wars is gorgeous. It's an amazing story, and you're only in season 2. Man, I cannot wait till you get later on. You're gonna.
I hope
just
the
let me
whole
know.
of the last season will be done by the time I get up there.
It should be. It should be because
I will probably finish.
You do
the
got a
entirety
ways
of
to
it.
go. Yeah, but like 4 more seasons.
Yeah.
Right. So
But,
yeah, I'm enjoying that.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear
Me too.
that.
So we're gonna move on to our next topic. No
Yeah.
real easy way to transition from that to this,
There is
honestly.
not. I'm looking at it like, ooh.
But Blue, you brought this up to our attention.
So while some things are growing, the growing list of companies pulling out of the gaming conventions is ridiculous. And I'm going to say that before I even say why they're doing it. They're doing it because of the coronavirus, y'all. Now, Activision is one of the biggest companies that recently said they're not going to do, I think it was GDC. Yeah,
Game
GDC
Developers
2020.
Conference.
Because of the coronavirus. And there's a lot of, what was it? We talked about it last week. Who pulled out of PAX East?
Sony.
Sony.
No, Sony. Yeah.
Yeah, Sony
Okay.
pulled out of PAX East. And there's a lot
They
of...
also
'cause
put
that's
out an
one of-
E3, so
Yeah, that was for
Well-
unrelated stuff. They claimed it was
I'm just
Corona
saying.
for. I mean, that's what we speculated on last week, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I've talked to a couple of nurses and I've done some research. I feel like you just gotta wash your hands.
That's honestly what CNN did a whole article saying, "Hey, wash your hands
Just wash your hands
and sing the Happy Birthday song twice when you do it. Like that's your best defense."
Like even if someone's got coronavirus next to you, wash your hands, sing the Happy Birthday song, wash your mouth and your face a little bit, and you should be good. That's what I'm hearing. Like
that's that's the messaging going around. Because it is a virus that spreads very similarly to like just the common flu. Like it has a different,
effect.
yeah, it's a different kind of virus, but like it transmits very similarly. So it is contagious, but like you can protect yourself by just washing your hands.
simple
And I heard
hygiene.
it's not even contagious airborne. So if someone's coughing in your face, well, not in your face, but in your, in the room, if someone's coughing in the room, you should be okay, So I think there's a lot of hype over this, and it might be an excuse for some of these developers to say, like, you know what, let's just pull out. We ain't got nothing to show.
I mean,
Like,
I would, but honestly, this is GDC. Like Game Developers Conference it's more like a retreat for the devs. Like they do talks on like behind the scenes stuff. Like, oh, how did we get this system to work in this game? Like, how did we get this story writing thing to hit in this game? And it's very, very like devs love
Technical.
it. Yeah, like it's like technical workshop. They love kind of trading stories in their craft and whatnot. So I don't feel like it's something that they would kind of want to skip out on. Like, I feel like the situation is really... Because, honestly, there's a lot of fear, not just in the gaming community, but everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, stock markets have been plummeting to record
What did
lows.
they say, like $1 trillion off?
Yeah, like
the recent-
$444 billion or $1 trillion were lost over the course of that day because of just
coronavirus.
companies not being patroned or people not wanting to leave and go here, like travel, hotels, like people don't want to go anywhere. And honestly, that's a smart move because you don't want to unnecessarily put yourself at risk. So I get it. Like, it's a big deal. People should take it seriously. It sucks that it's affecting GDC. Like my job specifically, Escapist Magazine, they were planning on going out there to do like a bunch of mini docs with a bunch of devs because like they're all in one place.
Yeah.
And everybody pulled out. So like apparently they're still stuck having to kind of go because GDC effectively postponed it entirely now. Like so many people pulled out. GDC is just not happening.
Oh my gosh.
So my guys are going.
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like taking it seriously means washing your hands. Like,
I mean, you can do both. Like, why take the risk? Like, stay where you are and wash your hands. You know what I mean? Because this stuff is popping up everywhere. Like, there was a case in Cali. There's a case in Washington State.
Seattle, somebody actually died.
Yeah, the first death in America from it was in Seattle. There's like fears of a New Jersey hospital, like maybe 40 minutes from here, of they're testing to see if someone caught it here.
Oh,
So,
my goodness.
like, it's popping up everywhere. Like, so why go out and about if you really don't have to?
I mean, you can catch it at home too. So it's like you damned if you do, damned if you don't. Just wash your hands either way.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
I bet you Purell stocks went up.
Hey,
You know what? You're probably right. Like Lysol,
Yo.
all them joints.
I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. Yo, that's smart.
Clorox wipes.
Yo, you're right. But I mean, it sucks. But that's the nature of the
Yeah.
fear surrounding a pandemic, and like,
That's the nature
Yeah.
of the future.
unfortunately, like it seems like it's heading towards pandemic versus like being phased out. Like I don't know what it is, but like it's not slowing down or stopping just yet. So it's going to be something that we're going to keep hearing about week after
Keep our
week
eyes on it.
for a while now, I think.
See, when stuff like that happens, it always, and this is not funny, but it always reminds me of, have you seen the show The Strain?
No, but I'm aware of it.
So it's where pretty much has to do with vampires,
Huh. Okay.
but it's transmitted kind of like a disease
Mm-hmm.
where these little worms, they get in. One can get into you, and it multiplies into who knows how many, just exponentially. And it shuts down New York. They think it's some type of virus or something, and the CDC officer, I guess you want to call him. I don't know, CDC
Yeah,
agent,
I don't know what
operative.
you would call. I don't know what you would call someone who works for the CDC.
He winds up treating it like a disease.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch it. It's a good show, but it always reminds me of something like that. Like people start turning into like flesh-eating mutates or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's what this does, but
I
I
hope
see.
No,
what,
I'm just saying.
yeah, I see what you're getting.
Every
at.
time I hear,
That
every
was
time I
all.
hear epidemic or something like that, that's what I think of.
Oh my gosh.
The more World War Z type stuff.
I mean, yeah, that's usually what they do. They frame the zombie virus as a pandemic. 'Cause
Something
that's,
like
that's what it
this.
would
Got
be.
that
Yeah.
T virus. Your favorite game, Blue. Resident
my
Evil 3
favorite game?
coming out.
Oh my
Check Blue.
goodness.
He's gonna be streaming that
Midnight
midnight streams.
streams, maybe.
Midnight stream. All the lights off.
Oh my.
All the lights off.
Y'all really trying to see me crap myself on stream, man? That's disgusting.
In a tutu.
What? Let's keep moving. This man.
Okay. So our last topic. We got a bunch of details about the Xbox Series X from Microsoft. They dropped a bunch of new specs.
Yeah.
And one detail in particular I'm super hype about is that they're saying that, at least for all their first-party titles, if you were to buy it on the previous generation, it's a free upgrade for the next gen. So, like, whatever's the Halo Infinite version, even if you buy it on your Xbox One and then you don't get an Xbox Series X till later, once you do get that Xbox Series X, Halo Infinite's basically going to be there, that version. And they said, apparently, like, they kind of threw shade at some other companies by saying, like, no player should have to pay for the same game twice just to upgrade to the next generation. And on the heels of that news, CD Projekt Red announced that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to follow suit. So if you buy it on a previous gen, whenever they make a next gen version, it's yours.
You
free.
got it.
Oh,
At least on
didn't say
Xbox.
PlayStation.
Yeah, right.
People
So-
are like, well, what about PlayStation?
Right, and that's the question. Like, is PlayStation going to do a similar thing? Because
I hope so.
If they don't, it kind of puts them in the spotlight. Pretty much puts them in the hot seat, like,
right,
because even at that point, you should kind of start questioning your allegiance. Like, really? Like, if they're doing it, and I think it's good because hear me out, right? Destiny came out, right? And I'm playing Destiny, and PlayStation got a lot of year one stuff. You know what I mean? Like stuff we didn't get till like a whole year later.
True.
Where
By
I
we, you mean
sympathize-
Xbox.
Yes.
Xbox folk.
Yes, we're not. I sympathize with that, but I think it kind of makes them take that step forward.
Like it
Instead of being
forces Sony to-
isolationist.
yeah, forces Sony to basically copy Microsoft, which is honestly I've been saying they should do with a lot of things, like Game Pass, for example. Just copy them, full stop. Don't try to do a Sony spin on it. Just do the exact same thing, please. Like Microsoft's deal works.
Speaking of Game Pass, real quick, I didn't really even realize the rewards on there. You can get another month of online subscription by
For the
playing
achievements.
Game Pass games.
Yeah. That's cool.
So, like, you play games and then you get more time to play games and then you get more time to play games and then you get more time. Like, it's a really cool cycle.
Yeah.
If you're a avid gamer.
I do miss their reward system where if you bought games from like Microsoft and stuff, you did get points to kind of use towards other stuff.
I think you still
Yeah,
get those points.
there might be some version of that still exists. I know it's changed because they don't really do the Microsoft points thing anymore. I think they converted all that into just money. But there's something, I think, in that vein. I would have to look it up. But
Is it like a code vein?
no, it's not cool vein. Anyway.
Dude.
But I mean, at least I'm not like a super technical guy. Like I do have a gaming PC that I built, but like the specs that they're talking about for Xbox Series X, like that doesn't really excite me as much. They said it has 12 teraflops.
Yeah, teraflops is such a weird word.
It's a funny word, but apparently that means it's very powerful, you know?
Yeah, that just means that a lot of PC-only games that were only powerful enough to run on PC will now be able to kind of play on console now. And I think we started to see that movement now with, you got League of Legends and stuff coming out. So I'm thinking a lot of that stuff is going to be coming to the Series X and not necessarily.
Do you think that was a power thing?
Gen.
That League of Legends was too... I thought that was a control
really, a
thing.
lot of games, a lot of games that like World of Warcraft. I mean, you can't run that on your Xbox.
100% you can.
Like
At the time.
the lowest setting.
Well, yeah, at the time. Like when
at
it
the
was,
time.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So maybe now,
Yeah.
but if something comparable comes out, you weren't able to run it. That's why it didn't come out for console as well. So this kind of opens up that window for a lot of PC-only games to kind of come on over.
But that's the comparison that keeps getting made, right? The PCs and then the Xbox Series X, because honestly, I watched like a breakdown of this. I believe IGN did it. They were comparing specifically like what a high-end PC build is and costs to what you're getting with the possibly $500 Xbox Series X. It could be more than that, but they're speculating that it's going to hit around $500. So the highest powered graphics card you can get for a PC is a NVIDIA TI 2080 Ti. And that's $1,000 for just a graphics card. Not any other component, just a graphics card. It's $1,000.
Yeah.
And that will run literally everything. What Xbox is running is something comparable to the next one down, which is the 2080X or something. And I believe that they said that was like maybe $800 for just the graphics card.
What's the performance gap though?
See, that I'm not
between the
sure
two?
of. Yeah.
Because if it's and I'm gonna do an anime reference right here, right? If you got All Might and you got Endeavor, right? You take out All Might, Endeavor's number one, but he's not nearly as close.
Right.
I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't
Right,
agree
the way
with
that they painted it right now in season 4, he's not nearly as strong.
Me
as,
coming back with a little bit more knowledge from that situation.
What I just say? I said from season 4, fam. You always got a manga dude to mess stuff up. But yeah, I guess what I was saying, if that $1,000 one is significantly better, like 10 times better than the Xbox one, you know what I mean? Then there might be a case there.
We also got to think where if it's needed to run what we'll be playing. I mean, because if you think about it, are you willing to pay them extra monies for that higher graphics card in there?
Yeah, you may not need it for most things. Honestly, like most games that are releasing right now, a 2080 Ti is overkill.
That's what
like unless you're like running like super high quality VR stuff, that's probably not going to tax your PC, you know?
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
But there is a second of a facet to this story in particular, and that's the PlayStation fan reaction, because Sony has basically been silent in terms of their next gen info. The last thing they told anybody about what was coming was the logo, was that PS5 is gonna look like this when on your box. So like people are getting antsy, like they want to know. And honestly, Sony's console is projected to have what 9 point something teraflops, so it's significantly weaker than what Microsoft is saying in terms of projections. Like this is
Right.
but they haven't announced actual specs yet. So do you think like Microsoft getting out first and saying, "Oh, this is a monster of a console," is maybe making Sony kind of second guess what they want to talk about here? Because if they would have give out their specs and they were lower, would that hurt them at all? Like, what do you think?
If they give out the specs and they're lower, I don't think most PlayStation fans are gonna flinch because they're just waiting to see the exclusives. That's been their bread and butter from the get-go. They say, okay, we don't care if it's weaker, but if it can run this game that you guys can't play, then we're cool.
Then they're happy.
Yeah,
It's going to be the swing votes that are affected by...
Right, and honestly, I feel like there are a lot more of them than people realize. Like, yes, the hardcore Sony guys are on the internet being super annoying and just...
Well,
I mean, clearly, because like they won't consider any other possibility other than Sony is the best at everything. And I feel like that's a dangerous mindset to have when you're a consumer, because then Sony can take advantage of you. Sony can do whatever, and then you just accept it, and that's not okay.
No, it's not okay.
I hear you.
So, I hear you.
Yeah,
Lou
so
used to be one of those.
so the group of more even-minded folk, we'll say, I feel like when like they watch all the news that comes out, like even if they prefer PlayStation, at this point they're kind of hungry for news. Like they want to know what PlayStation has to offer that will satisfy them, that will be better than what Microsoft's talking about, because otherwise they're not going to be able to justify the purchase.
It's funny you mentioned that because let me say this real quick. I was listening to there's another podcast that some of my friends do called The Bleak Corner, and these guys are typically PlayStation loyalists. But in this last podcast that they had, they said, you know, they're willing to switch over to Xbox if one of them is two guys, Ez and Cole. One of them had recently tried out Game Pass, and they're like, "Oh, I just have a whole bunch of things to play. This is great." You know what I'm saying? And he's like, you know, if they keep that up, if PlayStation doesn't have any kind of similar service, and if this Series X is actually doing what it says it's going to do, they're going to be Xbox boys. And they said this like unprovoked. You know what I mean? So I think those are the even-headed cats that you was talking about.
Right, yeah. Like there's a lot more of them out there than people really realize. Like people are like, oh, Sony's...
Think about
go ahead, Jeff.
No, you just got to think about the fact that you have, you know, holidays coming out. Moms want to get their kids, let's say, a system. She doesn't have to spend 60, 120 extra bucks on new games. She get a subscription to Game Pass, and here they have this whole library of games they can play.
Like it's a keep saying it over and over again. There are a lot of other outlets who have written think pieces and stuff about it, and they're all using the same terminology. It's the best deal in gaming, point blank. You do not get a better value for your money anywhere else right now. Like Game Pass is, if you love to play video games, you're doing yourself a disservice by not being subscribed to Game Pass. Point blank. That's all there is to it.
It is hard to argue with that.
Yeah, it's like 808 and Heartbreaks.
Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Lick a 0 cents.
No, it just popped up from you behind your wall, so it just hit me.
So yeah, so I feel like some of those more even-headed PlayStation fans feel that. Like they hear the talk, they see the games that come on Game Pass, but then if they want to play them, they got like Outer Wilds, for example, day one was on Game Pass. And if you hear the Discord about that game, like from me, from other people who've played that game, it's phenomenal. And it was just there on Game Pass. It's on PlayStation. You can pay I don't even know how much it is. I don't know how much it is. $30, $40. You could pay that and play it on PlayStation.
Gears 5 was free on Game Pass.
Right. And that's exclusive. I mean, some Sony people probably don't care as much.
Don't care, but I'm just saying you're getting these free games when the Sony say, hey, here's a game coming out and it's going to be free for all PlayStationians, you know?
Right. But they would love to hear that. Like, they would rejoice. There's no reason why a Sony person would not be happy with PlayStation saying, okay, we're going to copy Game Pass. All of our first-party stuff is going to be on the service. Like, I'm wondering if Sony just can't front it because, like, to them, their first-party games are doing so well and they're so critically acclaimed that they feel like they would devalue them by making them free to anyone who just signs up for a monthly subscription. You know what I mean? And even in the same vein, like, if they release something that's a Sony exclusive, like Ghost of Tsushima, which is supposed to be on PS4, if that then gets moved to PS5 and they don't make you pay for it, they're going to feel like, well, I mean, you should pay for it. It's a high quality experience or whatnot. Like maybe that's their thinking, and Microsoft is really just kind of shooting them in the leg by trying to force them to consider not doing that. Right? Yeah. Because honestly, now I'm thinking about it, it's exactly what Sony did to Microsoft when Microsoft charged $500 for their underpowered console with a camera that nobody wanted, and Sony was like, "Well, you could just pay us $400. It's a stronger console."
Yeah.
And you can share your games.
I remember that.
You know what I mean?
True.
So it's like Microsoft really took that to heart, and like they've been planning on setting all this stuff up like ever since then, and like you're starting to really see their plan come together. And Sony, I feel like, was wholly unprepared for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like they really had a plan past. It doesn't seem like they had a plan past Game Pass. Like as soon as that came out, there was no other moves left.
No.
We haven't seen a major move from Sony since. I think they recently had a UI update, but I don't think any significant features dropped. I could be wrong, but when I turned on my P4 last, I didn't see anything crazy.
I mean, at most, they're starting to release some of their exclusives on PC. Like, Death Stranding is supposed to be coming to PC sometime later. But Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a Sony studio, is also coming to PC in the future. So they're trying something. Their PlayStation Now service as well, which lets you stream games. They started putting temporarily some of their first-party games. Like God of War was on there, I believe. I think the most recent Uncharted was also on there. But Game Pass is also limited, but the window for Sony's version is a lot
smaller.
It's like a lot smaller.
Yeah,
So
I feel you.
If that's the best they can do in terms of reaction to Microsoft's Game Pass, like it's not enough.
Yeah, no, you're right. 100%. 100%.
Hundo.
100%.
Okay, so with that, we'll move off of our topics, move into our mailbag. Our good friend of the show, Snicks360, has also posed another question. And if you would want to be like Snicks360 and send us questions, shoot an email to BBETGaming@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We will read all your questions, and if they're good, we'll throw them on the podcast. So don't be shy.
Don't
Even
be
if they're
shy.
not good.
Right, even if they're not about gaming.
We're not going to drag you.
Yeah.
Look at this stupid question this dude done sent us.
Right, have confidence that you will not be dragged on podcasts for a dumb question. But Snicks asks, if you could develop your dream game, what would it be?
I'm already ready.
You
I
got one?
thought about this. At first, I was like, man, it would have to be this. And then I was like, nope, I know what I want. I want Sword Art Online. Let me get that VR dive gear. 100%.
Oh, you want a full VR?
Yup, full dive, baby.
Okay.
Let me see it.
Don't matter what you're doing.
Yeah, like
It
what? Yeah, what do
doesn't
you do in
matter.
it then? Just
Like the theme doesn't really matter.
what if it's
honestly.
like Amish country?
You ain't nothing but a
Let's
thief.
do it, bro.
Well, you gotta
I'm playing.
virtual reality wake up at 5 a.m. and milk cows and stuff.
Got that whole farm simulator going on.
You know what? It might be a nice change of pace from what I got going on right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of, in a little metropolitan area, and it would be nice to have some farm life, maybe. And,
Okay, churn that butter.
10 minutes. Yeah,
For me,
churn that butter.
it would be a MMO Star Wars game where you could be either a Jedi or Sith, and the customization was to the point where you could pretty much make yourself in that game.
Okay.
Where there would be force lightning, anything you can think about. Force lightning, force pushing, there's different trees. You could even be I think there was something similar to this on PC, but not to the level that I'm talking about, where, I want it to be like,
You got this.
if it was in Star Wars, it's in this game. I don't want it to follow any particular storyline. I kind of want it just to be
Just like a living.
during the height of the Jedi Order. You got, you're a Padawan, you start out, or
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, or
you start out and you're a Sith Poodawan. You know what I mean? though?
Is that what they call it?
It's called the Sith Apprentice. Thank you very much.
Yes. But they're gonna
A
now this-
Poodawan? That's what you came up with?
Oh my gosh.
now,
Oh, man.
and all the planets are explorable. There's raids, there's PvP, there's everything. From the ships, there's ship fighting. You can ride speeders. You name it, it can happen.
So is this like a third-person thing or a...
In my mind, it's a third person. I think that's the only way this works. First person just doesn't work.
For like lightsaber fighting, I guess, right?
Yeah, and I want it to be combat similar to the Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
Oh,
Yes.
But then,
Where
okay, so
there's
this isn't like a
counters.
PvP thing. It's like everyone's running around just fighting the
Well,
world.
there's PvP, there's PvE. I want a little bit of everything.
Because I'm wondering how, because
So, go ahead.
yeah, I'm wondering like how a PV, like how would you fight another player with Fallen Order combat?
It has to end up looking like For Honor.
Yeah, I feel like
So-
For Honor would be a better
And
way
that's-
to like fight another character with that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
because
that's kinda
Dark
how
Souls had
combat is in
PvP.
Fallen Order to a certain extent. To a certain extent.
I feel like it's more like Sekiro and Fallen Order.
No, I've played both,
Well,
but I get you because you don't see it as an enemy. Like there's no directional block and there's nothing like that because there is
Right.
no.
Yeah, because like how
player
because how would you fight another player who has the same moveset as you in a game like that? Is what I'm wondering.
I'm
It's
thinking,
funny-
and I would like there to be different lightsaber because there's different lightsaber techniques. Yeah, techniques too. So like the Palpatine's wasn't the same as Yoda's, or Yoda's wasn't the same as Mace Windu. They're kind of like martial arts where there's
What
different.
was that
styles.
game where it was really minimalistic and it was all about different martial arts forms and moves. And
Oh,
we played it a little
Absolver.
bit off stream. Absolver.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're thinking about when you're thinking about changing stances and stuff like that?
I don't really mean Sora's anything to that effect, but like if you know Obi-Wan's, his lightsaber style was more of a defensive.
It was a
style.
countering style. Yeah.
So his style was different than everybody else. So there's different schools of lightsaber combat that you would kind of pick from that would kind of alter your style. So might not necessarily be the same as anybody else's, but there would be some people who could potentially have the same thing.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because, and this is a quick caveat, For Honor is undergoing some changes right now. And they're doing similar to what Overwatch has been doing with these experimental cards. And they're kind of like have a experimental mode, right? Where you're trying out a build that they're experimenting with.
Mhm.
So the problem before, and what a lot of fans have been complaining about, is that the game was too defensive, right? If you made the first move, you were going to lose. Someone is going to chip out your exhaustion, and then it's just execution from there. If you make the first move, you're done. That was the, like, on the high level, that was basically the thing. So they're trying to make it more aggressive now, where your defensive stances are a lot shorter. The parries don't do as much. Like it's a lot of balancing. So that being said, if a game like that for Star Wars were to come out, I would pray that they get that balance down right.
Mhm.
If there's going to be PvP,
But don't forget about the MMO aspect of it because that was my biggest
Right.
part. So make
So-
sure you don't exclude that from my
no,
whole
no.
story or my dream. Okay.
No. I'm just talking about the combat specific. When you're talking
No, I'm
about
just
the
messing
MMO, when you're talking about the whole, the MMO factor to it, just like you briefly mentioned, the Old Republic, which is the PC MMO, is very similar to what you were talking about. And that's another. We kind of talked about it in some weeks before about some stories coming out from that era that are just simply amazing. And I'm not going to go back.
Oh,
into all
side
that.
note, they're actually doing a bunch of novels.
Yeah, I'm
Did you
not
see that?
as excited about that. Yeah, I did hear, but I'm not as excited because novels are easily the first thing that most franchises throw out when they say, this is not canon. We'll just put whatever's on screen as canon. So.
Yeah, and it's set like so far away from every other part of the story too. It's like it's just filling out a bunch of stuff. Like you can just ignore it entirely everywhere else.
Yeah, but hopefully they're good stories.
Mr. Sick.
Yeah, in terms of my dream game, I've actually been thinking about this for not that long. Because a game that I reviewed, John Wick Hex, actually put the idea in my head because I saw the potential of what that game was trying to do, and I feel like there's a much better version of that could be made. And essentially, if you haven't seen John Wick Hex, it's a turn-based tactics game, but it works via a timeline. So like every action that you takes up a certain amount of time, and you can see the timeline on above the screen. So it'll show you as you're selecting options, oh, this will take this much time to complete, and your enemies who are doing this will take this much time to complete. So if your thing beats their time, then essentially you would like stop them from doing their thing. So it's kind of a puzzle in that vein, but it's also a tactics game because you have to position yourself to make it so that maybe they're doing a thing that won't hit you because you're behind cover or like it's really cool. Like I like that mechanic, right? But the problem with that game was that it's John Wick. John Wick is a very hyper, like fast, like dope combat, choreography, right? And even though it's interesting in the middle of the turn-based thing, they try to play the whole thing out for you in real time at the end, and it looked like a janky mess. Like it just looked dumb. He moved stupid. So it was very disappointing. If they could take that system, apply it not to gun combat, but to like a martial arts game against another person, and then fix all the animation stuff, like basically make it a one-on-one fighting game, but it's like
guys are
chess.
Kind of like planning out the choreography.
Yes. So like so each person would have like a time limit, because like the way I'm thinking that like in a fight, like if you see someone doing something, you only have split second to react. So like you would have maybe like 2-3 seconds. You see what the other person input, and they can see what you input. So you're reacting to what one another are doing, but it's like in slower increments. Yeah, so you can get a hit off by countering this thing and that thing, and it all plays out in slow motion. And then at the end of it, you would see that fight play out in real time, and then you'd be like, "Oh, I'm a martial arts master because look what I did! Like I parried that, exactly." Yeah, so I think like that would be really cool. And I did tell a game dev friend of mine, because I do work for a bunch of game devs with the Realm or whatever. I told him that idea, and he was like, "Oh, I think that's cool, whatever." I'm like, "Could you make it though?" So I don't know. The jury's still out on that, whether it's going to be something that actually gets made eventually. But I would love to see a game like that. Like I think that'd be really cool.
If game devs are listening right now, that's obviously copyrighted.
Yeah, don't do that.
And you know what? While we at it, I'm just gonna go ahead and patent the full dive gear. You know what I'm saying?
Because clearly that was the first anyone's heard of that.
No one's really heard of that besides some cats would start out online, and this is a long story with me and them.
If we played that, I'd be OP.
Oh man,
put all my points in defense. I know.
You'd be something overly pathetic.
Wow. And with that, we've reached the end times for this podcast. Jeff, where can people find you if they're looking for you on the internet?
So, you can find me at the Hall of Justice, or you can also find me at...
Who was mopping the floors or something?
And also,
Gotcha.
My bad. Did not mean to roast you through your sign off.
Blue, where can people find you?
It's your boy Blue Bones, BLUB0NES. You can find me on Twitter at that same handle. You can find me on Instagram at that same handle. But you can find me on Mixer and Xbox at BlueBonesXB as an Xbox for Quantum Forever. That's right. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you. You know, every week I can rely on Jeff to just bang with me. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Check out the team pages, check out the team Mixer, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. BBET Gaming. You already know what time it is.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I got.
All right.
That's what I
So
got.
Where can people find you?
you guys can find
Siggy.
me on pretty much all social media at Sigma Gears 9. You can find my Facebook at Sigma and Son. That's most of the stuff that I do with Starboy, my son. You can find my 3-minute reviews as well as some of the streams I've been doing with my boss or Jack Packard from Escapist on the Escapist Twitch, which is Escapist Magazine. No, twitch.tv/Escapist Magazine. You can find that on the Escapist YouTube, the Escapist Magazine website. Once again, send us emails at bbetgaming@gmail.com. We need them.
Hit that like button.
Right?
That's
Like,
right.
subscribe, follow the Mixers, the Twitters, all that jazz. If you're in the Central New Jersey area, follow The Realm. I'm the social media manager for those guys. I'm also a consultant. So there's some changes coming for The Realm as well. Matter of fact, I don't think I mentioned this. I did an interview recently with the League of Legends.
League of Legends.
League of Legends
yeah.
former pro, Giovanni Chang. He's a really nice guy. We had a great conversation, really in-depth, interesting about like his history and kind of what it takes to kind of get to that pro level. It's on the Realm's YouTube, or you can check out my stuff and find the link to it as well. So definitely check that out, give that some views. Thanks everybody for listening and watching. Thanks Jeff once again for joining us. Thanks Blue. Gamer, we missed you today, but he'll be back in the future.
Yeah. And if you're gonna check out his stuff, look at Smash Button Report.
Start button.
Start button. Why do I keep saying Smash?
Who knows?
Yo, I swear in my head I'm like, don't say Smash, don't say Smash.
And then you say Smash.
Start Button Reports.
Yes.
Mr. Gamer. Check his stuff out. He just dropped a podcast Thursday too.
Right.
Yeah. Him and Miss Kitty Duval.
So thanks everyone. That's gonna do it for episode 36 of the BBET GamesCast. Peace.
Deuces.